Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. For today's exploratory mission, I'm going to make my way up to the Verde Hot Springs. I'm going to have to take a series of trails and forest roads to get there, and it's going to be a pretty long trek. I've already had to drive 2 hours to get to this point at the start of Tonto 677, which turns into Silver Creek Trail. So from here, it's about a 30-mile trek up to the hot springs off-road. Now, I originally was going to go a different way, but I read on a trail review on Trails Off-Road that the way I was going to go now has a locked gate, so I'm taking a different route. Hopefully this way, there aren't any locked gates that we're going to run into. If there are, you know me, I'm going to find someplace else to explore. So let's get this exploratory mission going. Let's head out. I had to get back inside the Bronco. There are swarms of wasps right here in this location, so I didn't want to get stung. Where I'm starting is right off of Bloody Basin Road. Now you had to drive about 10 miles from the beginning of Bloody Basin Road, which is on I-17, to this point. So we're now at the beginning of Tonto 677, and we're going to start heading up the forest road. There are a few creeks that we're going to cross along the way. Whether they have water in them or not, I don't know. But I do know we're going to cross Silver Creek, of course, and Sycamore Creek. There are a couple spots I've marked on the map to explore and check out, so hopefully those will pan out to be something cool and exciting. I was super excited for this exploration, but I had no idea what to expect once I reached the end of Silver Creek. After that, the forest roads are pretty much uncharted territory. With such roads, you never know what the difficulty level is going to be. Now, both Tonto 677 and Silver Creek are rated as moderate on Onyx, so I don't foresee any obstacles of any significance. Now, as far as the forest roads go, they're not rated routes, so we'll see what happens when we get up there and see what we run into. If you aren't aware, obviously you know it's summertime now. But out here in Arizona, especially right now in the Tonto National Forest, fire restrictions are in place. Meaning you can't have campfires, you shouldn't smoke out here in the trails, and if you do, it has to be in like an open, dispersed camping area. Don't park into tall grass that could ignite from your exhaust. Just, you just got to be careful when fire restrictions are in place, because, we don't want to start any new fires. We already have a few going on as it is. So I just passed the boundary for Tonto 677 and Silver Creek, so now we're on the Silver Creek Trail. This whole way, I have never seen so many grasshoppers in my life. They fly up out of the grass and cling to my Bronco, and they're just everywhere. Yeah, see, these little guys right there, they just keep flying out of the grass and sticking to my Bronco. Well, this gate that I just came across, as you drive through, you know, see the sign says, please close the gate. Okay, but it was open, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it. Usually I would leave gates as I find them, but since there was a sign there that says please close it, that's what I did. So I've taken a little off spur. I'm gonna drive down in here and see what we can find, but it follows Indian Creek. You can see this area is nice and green and lush. There's a few springs along this little side spur. Now, if you saw the sign back there, it said Dugas 6 miles straight, Turret Ranch this way. I didn't see any structures on the map, but we're gonna follow it in and see if we can make it all the way down to where it says Indian Creek Spring. This little side spur is labeled 9601D, but it says it's called Indian Creek. It is pretty tight down through here, but we're gonna see how far we can make it. It is very pretty out here. This little side spur follows a barbed wire fence, so I'm guessing over there is private property. I didn't see any private property boundaries on Onyx, but you never do know. Like I said, it's very tight through here. Very wooded and lush. Okay, well, we gave it a shot, but I was right. It is private property, so we cannot proceed. But hey, at least we checked out this off spur. It is a very beautiful little off spur. There are a couple good camping spots down in here that are very secluded, so that could be an option. But we're gonna have to turn around and head back the other way. feeling, following that barbed wire fence, that we might run into a locked gate that's private property. And my feelings were correct. But at least now I know, and if I ever come back out here again, I'll know that this is a dead end. But this is what it's all about: taking some offshoots and just seeing what's down there. You know, what's at the end of this? I just love that. So when we get back out to where we turned on to this Indian Creek off spur, the sign said 6 miles to Dugas, and that's where the Silver Creek Trail ends. That's also where we're gonna hop on another forest road and head towards the Verde Hot Springs. I don't know how many miles it is from here, but I'll show you where we're at. So here's Silver Creek Trail, okay? This is the Indian Creek off spur where we couldn't go any further. We're right here. Silver Creek runs up into Dugas and ends right there. Now I planned the route. This is the forest road we're gonna take over to the Verde Hot Springs. It's still quite a trek. That's Tul Mesa. So we got a ways to go to get to the hot spring, which is right there. Hopefully we're not gonna run into any more locked gates. If we do, oh well. We'll know that we can't go this route to get to the hot springs. Alright, so we're back on the Silver Creek. From the looks of the map, we only have a few miles to go till Dugas. Well, I should say 6 miles. And at least that's what the sign back there said also. So we're almost to the turnoff for Tul Mesa, heading to the hot springs. From that point, it looks like about another 20 miles to the hot springs, so it should be a pretty long trek. I don't know the condition of the forest road. I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhat like this, so it should take us a little while. That is what makes it fun. Now, I was already planning on this trek today being a long one. Now, even though it's only 11:30, we may or may not be heading back close to dark or in the dark, depending on what we come across and how slow going Tul Mesa is. We're gonna find out. And that's just one of the things I love about exploring. It's the unknown. So we've come to a spot where you can go 2 different ways. You can go around the bushes this way, or you can go this way. Which way do you think I'm gonna go? Of course I had to take the harder line. I mean, who wouldn't? Now, along this section of the path, I had to move at least 4 or 5 small downed trees. There are also lots of low-hanging branches, but I just drove right straight through those. This whole section is right towards the end of Silver Creek, which turned out to be one of my favorite sections of the trail. Okay. This beautiful crossing right here is Sycamore Creek. Now, it wasn't deep when I went through, but I'm positive that can change throughout the year. Just had our first water crossing for the day. Wasn't too bad at all, pretty easy. You can see it's heavily forested in this area, and I really enjoy that. From what the map says, Sycamore Cabin is up around here, around the bend. I don't know if we can get to Sycamore Cabin from this trail. I'm gonna bang a left right at Sycamore Creek. There's a little trail that runs down along the creek. It looks like a pond and some buildings. So I'm gonna go down in there and explore that area. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. That's where I'm at. Silver Creek, this is Sycamore Creek right here. There's the pond, and there are the buildings. Now, Sycamore Cabin, if you don't know, is a cabin that you can actually rent. Now, I did just pass a sign that says private land, no parking. So I guess what that means is we're allowed to pass through, but we cannot stop. So I'm not going to be able to follow this creek over here. Take a look at that pond. Here's a nice little water crossing too. Oh, there's some fishies in there. I honestly wasn't sure about that little creek crossing. It looked pretty steep and deep, but I made it through just fine. I just powered right through it. Do not use road when wet. Yeah, I can see why. You might get stuck. So I'm at the end of Silver Creek. We still have a long way to go. You can see here on the map, this is where we're at. Okay. We got to take a right onto Tul Mesa, which goes all the way in to the hot spring. We've only gone so far 13 miles, and it is now 12:30. I'm going to continue on. If it's really slow going, I may turn around and leave the hot spring for another day. But we're going to go and see what's up. As I turned onto Tul Mesa Road, there was a sign that said Verde Rim. The Verde Rim said 12 miles. I don't know how far past Verde Rim the Verde Hot Springs are, but let's just hope it's not too far. This is a primitive road, but you know, we can move at a pretty good pace on this. The road has gotten very choppy, but boy, look at these views. Definitely had to stop to check out this vista point over here. You can see way off into the distance, you can see that corral for cattle down there. Not sure if that's private property or not, but boy, what a beautiful sight. Now we're going to continue on. Like I said earlier, I don't know how far I'm going to be able to get, if I'm going to be able to reach the hot spring. But that's what these missions are all about, to find out and to at least try. The trail is getting very rocky, very choppy. with a lot of areas where you're gonna need to use your lockers. Oh, there's a grasshopper in here. I'm hoping that most of the trail isn't like this so that we can make some better time. But right now, it is very, very slow going. Lots of rock ledges along this route. This chop is just relentless. I do only have about 10 miles to go to the end, but remember, I can't cross the river, so I have to come back the way I came, so I have to go back through all this. I think the trail is starting to smooth back out a little bit. I just went through about 3 miles of non-stop boulder field, basically, moving along at 1 to 2 miles an hour, getting thrashed around, even with IFS. Oh man, see, this is like glass compared to what I was on before. Very long stretch of rocks. I'm not too far away now. I gotta make this little left up here, and that'll be the last stretch up to the hot spring. So I'm hoping I'm only like 5-6 miles away. And I was right, just past the sign that said Verde River 6 miles. So we are almost there. It is 1:48 in the afternoon, so it's still not too late. So, but yeah, remember, we gotta go back the other way. Wow. If you could see the views I'm looking at right now, I'm gonna show you once I get a clearing. Very tight through here. And that drop is steep. Sure is. Wow. See, now this is what it's all about. I was telling you that drop is steep. There's no doubt about that. You do not want to go over the edge of this. I am stopped right in the middle of the trail because I haven't seen one other single soul this whole way. Wow, I mean, would you just look at this? Absolutely, positively gorgeous. Unreal. I tell you though, I wouldn't want to have to come back this way in the dark because it's very narrow and there's some boulders that stick out that you have to just squeeze by. You're on the edge of the shelf and you're on the edge of that boulder that could potentially puncture your tire. You don't want that. Guys, this is extremely narrow. This is a shelf road. And if there are any rock slides or anything like that, I'm going to be screwed because I'm going to have to back up along this road. There is nowhere to turn around. Not that I've come across yet anyways, but you can see out there, wow. Just wow. This is amazing. Yeah, see, this area is kind of sketchy. You don't want to end up down there. There's a boulder right to my right, but I have to make it by. This doesn't look unstable, but still. Very, very narrow, guys. Well, this is too sketch by myself, guys. I don't know what else is up ahead of me. You know, I'm by myself. I'm not going to be able to turn around. Well, at least I don't know if I'm going to. I did find a spot back there that I'll be able to turn around in. But man, I'm by myself. I've got quite a ways to go. If anything happens, I'm going to be stuck out here. I'm gonna have to find a different route to the hot springs. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna call it. I'm gonna turn around because I need to be safe, not sorry. Unfortunately, yeah, I can make it down that no problem, but I don't know what else there is. This is a narrow trail the whole way, and typically it's meant for side-by-sides, but I'm gonna have to flip it around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down here a little bit. I'm gonna back right up that hill into that section, turn around and head back out. I can't risk it. I know I said I want to push myself, but stranding myself out here would not be smart. Another reason why I made that decision is I'm heading down a mountain. I don't know if there's any rock slides, if there's any washouts, if there's any stranded vehicles along the trail. Just can't risk it. And look at this right here. This is flipped over, but if you can see, if it was faced the other way, it says no turning back. Don't be a bitch. Well, I'm gonna be a bitch because I'm by myself. I don't care what you say. Yeah, I don't care, dude. Yeah, we're just gonna continue back. I know I can get back from here. And since I know, that's everything to me. So let's pause right here for a minute. I was obviously upset that I made the decision to turn around. But after I got home, I did my due diligence and I tried looking for other videos on YouTube just to see if I made the right decision. Well, I found two. And judging by this dirt bike video and the comment section, I definitely made the right choice. I'll leave a link in the description of this video that was shot. Let's put it this way. It would have ended up really bad if I continued on. I just will not strand myself. Ain't gonna do it. I'm taking that little piece of equipment and what's on there as a warning. It's got to get worse. I mean, it's pretty gnarly, you know, as it is coming through here in this narrow of a trail. See you another day, Verde Hot Springs. So let me know in the comments, what would you have done? Would you have gone forward, continued on, or would you have turned around? This is based on being by yourself, remind you. I am upset. And I'm not going to get egged on by the don't be a bitch thing. Because I choose to get home tonight. Bet you $1 million if I was in a side-by-side and not my daily driver, I would have continued on. You can bet your booty on that one. See that? Some beautiful deer. One ran out right in front of me. Beautiful. There's some beautiful deer that I just came across. I'm glad they stuck around and let me film them for a few seconds. But the good thing is, guys, the journey's not over yet. You know, we still have more to explore on the way out here. Quite possibly, the decision to turn around is what let us have the ability to explore more. You be the judge. Well, I'm definitely going to have to find an alternate route to the Verde Hot Springs, because I am not going to let them elude me. I know of multiple other routes. One of them is too easy. You know, that way is just mainly regular road and just well-graded dirt road. So I don't want to do that one. There's another way, the original route that I had planned to take, as I said earlier in the video, if you saw it, a trail review was left saying that it was gated off about 2 miles from the hot spring. So technically I could go that way and then hike the rest of the way. I'm not going to do that in this heat. So that'll have to be another time. So I'm going to do my due diligence and see if I can find out if that gate's still closed or open or what. I'm going to call the Forest Service and see what they have to say. Hopefully it was just a temporary closure, and you know, you can go all the way to the hot springs, whether now or later or whenever, but I'm surely going to find out and I'll let you guys know. This is the Black Hills area. I'm not really positive how far they extend out, but that's what Onyx says. Obviously not South Dakota, but it's beautiful. Arizona's version of the Black Hills. To me, no expedition is a failure when you have views like this. It really is reminiscent of the Black Hills, South Dakota. If you've ever been through there, you know what I'm talking about. I've been through there twice, and there is a definite resemblance. Such beauty. I gotta tell you, I can't wait till I get to the point where the Bronco is not my daily driver and I have a backup vehicle. That alone would allow me to do a little bit more and push some more boundaries than I'm able to push right now. But I'm working for that point. One of these days, I'm sure it'll happen. Usually when I set a goal, I achieve it. So whether it takes a year or 10 years, it'll happen. And of course, if you guys would like to help me get to that goal, hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it, guys. Alright, there's a sign for Dugas and I-17. I-17 is 9 miles away. So we're gonna go by the Sycamore Creek Cabin area, check that out, and then make our way back out to the 17. Okay, so we're gonna make this left onto Sycamore Station. I'm sure there's some private residences down here, but we're gonna go down and see how far we can get. It says for reservations, call this number, and somebody is renting it at the moment. That's Sycamore Cabin right there, as you can see it. So somebody is staying there, so we're not going to go down and bother them guys. Oh, these guys are got an electric gate and everything. Got a code. I like to see that house. On my way down in, I did see a very big and beautiful home, so I'm guessing that's what's behind that gate. It was very beautiful, big windows and everything. There's somebody's home. I think that's somebody's home. Well, maybe not anymore. Used to be at one time. That's an old structure. Well, I have hit pavement on Dugas Road and I see 17 off in the distance. Well, we've reached our air point. We can talk about today. What could I have done different? What should I have done different? If anything, seeing as though I was by myself. I wouldn't call this excursion a failure. I might call it a success more than a failure, because we made it out fine. The Bronco's in one piece. I'm not calling a recovery company to come out. So you could look at it from a few different ways, obviously. Me, I'll call it a successful failure. Just because, you know, I'm an optimist, but at the same time, I'm a realist. It's good that I made it back out. It's good that I didn't break anything. It's good that I didn't break down, obviously. That can happen to any vehicle. In my mind, it's bad that I didn't continue on, but get a better view here. With that being said, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna run the risk of getting stranded out there with your daily driver that you need to get back and forth to work with? Or are you gonna take that risk and possibly get through so you can say, shit, yeah, I did it. I did that. I have no problems with taking risks, as you obviously know. What I do have a problem with is putting my daily driver at serious risk. It would be serious risk for me financially, number one. If this wasn't my daily driver, I would have kept going. When I did Boulder Creek that one time, I turned around and I didn't care. This one I really care about. This one might haunt me because I really want to go out to the Verde Hot Springs this way or the other way. One really super cool bright point to today is right now. And I'll tell you why. I upgraded my compressor. I now have the new MorrFlate 10.6 Pro. I have not tried it yet. We're gonna try it right now. Ta-da! So, all right, my engine's running, so I hope you can hear me. So I guess what we do, we're gonna set the PSI. This is 39, right? Yeah, okay, we set it to 39, let's go. All right, she's running. So when that hits 39 PSI, that should stop. And we're gonna compare it to what it says out here to what it says inside the Bronco. So that's the 10.6 Pro. Now if you remember, my Smitty build took about 10 to 12 minutes to air up from 18 PSI to 39. It is 4:32 right now. So we'll see how long the 10.6 Pro takes. So it's at 38, 39. Remember, it equalizes the pressure in all the tires, and the compressor just stopped. Okay, so we'll let it equalize. It's 4:37. That's 4 minutes. 4 minutes, guys. That's great. That's awesome. Worth every stinking penny. MorrFlate 10.6 Pro. Pick one up. And just so everyone knows, MorrFlate is not sponsoring this video. They did not pay me in any way. They did not send me the compressor to try. Bought it with my own money. I just happen to really love their products. But that 4 minute air up time, that's just money right there. Money well spent. Well, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Even though I was mildly disappointed that I didn't go all the way, we'll tackle her again some other day. See you next time, guys.